part of the Boundless Audio Podcast Network.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Artist Pivot Podcast. I am your host, Ayana Major Bey, and I happen to be an actor, voiceover artist, mentor, and world traveler. This is a bi-weekly show featuring conversations about pivots and life lessons from the perspective of artists, those who work in and around the arts, and arts educators. Everyone possesses the ability to pivot. You just have to be reminded sometimes, and that is what I am here to do. To stay up to date and in the know about merchandise, exclusive content, and how to support the show, please subscribe to the newsletter at ayanabey.com/podcast. That's AYANABEY.com/podcast. And there is a link in the show notes. We'll get to this week's episode after a word from our sponsors. I have found that therapy is a tool to use to improve your life in one of the healthiest ways. For those who are working on their mental health and well-being, on a journey of facing your fears, or trying therapy for the first time, our show sponsor BetterHelp is here to help you. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/artistpivot. That's betterhelp.com/artistpivot. We Audition is the video chat community where actors can audition, self-tape, rehearse, and get expert industry advice. Get instant self-tape readers through video chat, browse through the dedicated actor meditations, podcasts, and books, meet casting directors in the virtual green room, and also make money by becoming a reader for other actors. If you join We Audition and use code PIVOT, you will receive a 25% discount on your membership. Yes, that's right, We Audition and the Artist Pivot have partnered to bring you this discount. From my own experience, I love being a reader for other actors, and We Audition is so convenient for me when I need a reader myself. Again, if you join We Audition and use the code PIVOT, you will receive 25% off your membership. Link in the show notes. Hello there. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Season 5 Wrap-Up. I can't believe it. The Artist Pivot Podcast has finished Season 5. Thank you. I want to thank everybody involved in the process. Thank you. I want to say thank you to all of my guests who have been so amazing and so informative and so vulnerable in sharing their stories and their pivots and their lessons learned and, coming together for the mission to provide somebody else with some insight and perspective and to be like, hey, you can keep going. This is what happened to me and it may not happen to you, but you could take my little nugget of wisdom, And so I want to say thank you to all of my guests this season. I want to thank everybody who's currently listening to me right now. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your encouragement. I really, really do hope you're encouraged by the podcast. And I want to thank my editor, Kieran. Kieran, you're a rock star. You're a rock star. That's all I have to say. So I just want to say thank you. So I'm starting this little wrap-up episode of my thank yous because I have to. I have to say thank you to my guest, to my listeners and supporters, and to my editor. And I have been kind of going back through the takeaways of the season, and I wanted to share a little bit of these takeaways that I have. And so one of the first ones is to give yourself permission. And what I mean by that is, I think a lot of times, and I'm going to speak, from my personal experience, we question, do I have permission to do this? Do I have will I be allowed? And I think the through line through season 5 has been, you're more than allowed. Number one, you're more than enough. You're worthy. You're a human being, not a human doing. And you have permission to change. You have permission to pivot. You can give yourself permission to change at any time. And yes, there may be certain circumstances in your life that may prevent you from changing immediately, but that doesn't mean you're not going to. That doesn't mean you're not putting a plan in place. That doesn't mean you're not reevaluating so that eventually you can adjust and make a change, if that makes sense. And so one of the through lines this season has been to give yourself permission. And whatever that may be for you, is it to find a day of rest a week, to replenish yourself? Is it to work on a project that you've wanted to work on for so long, but you've been putting it off because you've been questioning whether you're good enough, or whether, oh, do I need permission to put this out? No, you don't. So that's the first through line, through the season. The next one would be to give yourself grace. This one kind of came up a lot in different ways, but that life is a journey, and so is your career. And we don't know everything that's going to happen to us, but being able to handle it with grace and forgive yourself for maybe not changing faster, or coming up with a new plan faster, to give yourself grace, because you're learning. We're all learning. And to also take all of the lessons with you that you've learned, all of the skills you've learned from either different jobs or people in your life, and everything informs your journey. And to also give yourself grace when you're trying to let go of things that no longer suit you, either mindsets or people or jobs, or, a medium that you're like, oh, I don't want to be in that medium anymore as an artist. Like all of these things, giving yourself grace and permission, going back to permission to be like, I can change. And that's more than okay, And the last one is to be in gratitude. Yeah, to be in gratitude as much as you can. And that was through the season as well, in different ways, but being in gratitude as much as you can for this current version of you, and navigating this journey as an artist and life as a human being who's choosing to be an artist, and also being in gratitude that you get to wake up and choose to create. And yeah, it's hard sometimes. Absolutely it is. But yeah, I'm grateful that I get to get up, first of all, wake up in the morning, and I'm going to choose to be happy. I'm going to choose to be full of gratitude. And I get to create today, whatever it is, a painting, going to the theater, whatever it is, a podcast. And so to be in gratitude. And so I myself have been gratitude for this season, and for all of my guests, and for them sharing their stories. Like I said in the beginning, the vulnerability and the truth. Everybody stood in their truth in these episodes, and it makes me so grateful. And it also just, it fills my heart to then share it, because we have these conversations, and I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to share. I cannot wait for people to hear this and to be encouraged by it, and to understand that, yeah, we are artists, and sometimes it seems harder than it should be, but that people have, in their own ways, navigated their path, and to be like, hey, y'all, this is kind of what I did. So take my little wisdom and make your own blueprint. Actually, I'm quoting myself. So earlier today, I wrote down something that I shared on my Instagram. If you're not following, go follow. I posted this. It says, take wisdom, insight, and perspective from others, and create your own blueprint with it. That is, I'm quoting myself. I wrote that down because I've been thinking, as wrapping up the season, like, what have I learned? And I'm going to say that's what I've learned this season: to take wisdom, insight and perspective from others and create your own blueprint with it. Yeah, that's what I've learned. Oh, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you so much again to my amazing guest. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you to my listeners, our listeners. I'm going to say my guest as well, like our listeners. Thank you to my editor, Kieran Niemand. You're a rock star. Yeah, that's wrapping up season 5, y'all. We did it. Air horn. I wish I had an air horn. Maybe I could get that in post-production. Anyway, yes, thank you so much. There will be a season 6 coming, y'all. So be prepared for that. Taking a little break right now. But please know there is a season 6 coming your way. Please sign up for the newsletter at ayanabey.com/podcast. That's AYANABEY.com/podcast to keep up with the things happening around the Artist Pivot podcast. Because even though I won't be releasing new episodes, I will be releasing the videos for season 5. So you'll be able to find clips on YouTube soon. And the video, I have a little exclusive hosting site that you'll be able to see the full video on. So the newsletter will tell you about that. Also, I'm excited to announce merchandise will be coming out soon. That is right. The Artist Pivot podcast will have merchandise. Maybe a t-shirt here, a tote bag there, a wine tumbler, there are things coming out. So if you'd like to also support the podcast that way, the merch is coming out as well. And I'll probably have some bonus episodes here and there coming in this break. I have a couple people I've been talking to. So just know, but guess what? You have to subscribe to the newsletter, ayanabey.com/podcast, to stay up to date on all of these things that are happening during I'm going to call it winter hiatus. That's what I'm going to call it. During the Artist Pivot podcast winter hiatus. But y'all, thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm going to leave you with what I said before. Season 5 has been so informative and transformative for myself, and I hope for you as well. And so remember, give yourself permission. Honey, give yourself grace. Be in gratitude. And also, my quote, take wisdom, insight, and perspective from others and create your own blueprint with it. Thank y'all so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon. I hope you have been informed and inspired by this week's episode. Make sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified when new episodes are out. To stay up to date and in the know about merchandise, exclusive content, and how to support the show, please subscribe to the newsletter at ayanabey.com/podcast. That's AYANABEY.com/podcast. And there's a link in the show notes. This show's executive producer is Ayana Major Bey, and editor is Kieran Niemand. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll speak to you soon.